I wish I knew how to quit you.
Then why don't you?
You're listening to Codependent Content, the podcast where we discuss the TV shows, movies, books, and video games in which we share an unhealthy relationship.
Someone has to put the world right, even if it means you all leave me again, even if it means that I'm...
My name is Mattias. Join us as we try to unravel the characters, stories, and worlds that we are entangled with. Because just when we think we're done with content, it draws us back in. Cheers, Natalie.
Cheers.
What are we drinking?
Cheers.
Tell the world what we're drinking.
We're drinking to...
You're on the microphone.
Oh, sorry. Oh my God, I always forget.
You're on a podcast.
I know. We're drinking to better hair in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say for myself. And to doing whatever it is that we want to do. To setting our goals, picking the goals, and running with them. That's what we're doing. Yeah. So also positive vibes only. Positive vibes only.
Positive vibes on the podcast in our comments.
Yeah.
That's all we want.
I received this shirt a million years ago. It was a set gift or from a writer. I was a producer or associate producer on this show on TBS, and it was a nightmare. It was so bad. And one of the writers gave me this shirt because it was a very tough show. And he gave me this at the end, and it was positive vibes.
Very sweet.
Only
positive
vibes only. And I want to say, I think that the comment section should really take from this message. It's almost Christmas, guys. We have Prosecco. We're celebrating positive vibes. That's the end of the year. Why are you upset?
Prosecco and mango juice in honor of the mango ice cream we hear about from Zoja. Mm-hmm. Also a favorite. But yes, cheers. Positive vibes. Welcome everyone back to Codependent Content. My name is Mattias.
I'm Natalie. I'm not checking my phone.
You have your notes on your phone, obviously, like all of us do.
Obviously, yeah. Yes.
We're warming up. Oh my gosh. Finally happened.
The diva.
We're
Diva's
finally
back.
here.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Ariel, to the podcast. Speaking of people coming back to the podcast, Natalie, I've noticed a little bit of something. Things have slowed down a little bit on my TikTok and the comments and the I don't know. Could be algorithms. Could be other things. But I noticed a lot of the people that were hating on our comments and our shows. They're strangely quiet after this episode came out. I will say two things. One, it was a slower episode. The one right before this one. Oh, for sure.
You know, so that's definitely it. Also, I haven't had a lot of hot takes lately. I got a director's note to cool it, but I can uncool it. I can really, I don't know.
Wait,
I feel
who's directing? I'm directing this.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So, yeah. So, I can make it spicy. I can spice it up.
I don't know. I don't think that's the issue. I think it's just the fact that I think people are realizing again as we go into this penultimate episode that it's a different show than what they were expecting. Mm-hmm. All the people that were on about this is what it is. You guys aren't paying attention. You're not watching the same show. Mm-hmm. Now it's like the show that it is has been, I think, even more apparent after this penultimate episode.
I want to say, didn't I say it's aliens?
Please.
Didn't I say it's aliens?
Well, we knew aliens were involved.
But it was like, we should run it back or something. It was like when we were early on, when we were doing predictions, I was like, it's definitely like aliens or something like that. Like,
yes, you were very much when we were doing speculation corner once, you were very much like, I want to see aliens. I think it's like one thing controlling all the minds, things like that.
Yeah. We can roll the clip. We can roll it back.
I feel opposite. I feel differently on that, but I think that's still a very good speculation, obviously.
Yeah,
but
it was a speculation / hope / like it came from somewhere else. I don't know. Again, my Battlestar Galactica brain was firing off this episode. So
yeah. Why don't we just get into it? We're already talking about just at least general thoughts on this episode. The Pentultimate episode,
Yes.
for those who are not aware, Pentultimate is the next to last episode. Typically.
I think they know what that means. I think they know what that means.
I feel like that's a word that I didn't realize existed until like Breaking Bad. You know,
okay.
I've never heard people talk about Pentultimate things, so it's still for me very new.
Yeah, I think it's actually more. I use that word more in Spanish than in English, I will say.
Oh,
so it's more. I feel like it's more common in Spanish.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I think it typically gets talked about with Vince Gilligan shows.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Is what I've noticed,
Yeah.
right? The Pentultimate episode of any season and the series in particular
Yeah.
is usually something to look out for, right?
Yeah.
Something to pay attention to.
Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon also. Very much.
And I have to know. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones definitely helped. Yeah.
Mhm.
There's always a big battle episode in
Or something. Like
it started with Hard Home and stuff. But yes,
Yeah.
all that said, Pentultimate episodes usually being a very major, at least turning point for the series or the show or whatever story they're telling to really hammer these things home. What are your general thoughts on this Pentultimate episode of Pluribus? Charm offensive. Sorry. Charm offensive.
Yeah. Lots of lore, lots of info, lots of questions answered, lots of literal charm happening. You know, yeah, lots of Zoja. Thank God. I really like clearly like every actor is so excellent on this show, but I also really like her too.
Yeah.
Like the casting is so good. It's so I'm always impressed by their acting. I'm very impressed by her. She's so charming and like beautiful. And she's very, I think that what's her name? Carol. I think Carol thinks she's playing her, but I think they're both playing each other. That was like my biggest takeaway. They're both playing each other, and it was really fun to see. So yeah.
Lots of questions being answered, as you said. Lots of questions being asked.
Yeah.
I think finally, as many people have brought up already, she's finally asking the questions we've been telling her to ask this entire time. And we've had questions about, we've been wondering, so now we finally get bunch of lore dumps, finally a bigger understanding of what's going on. And I think that's great because that's where like people get in a lot of like theory corners with these kinds of shows, the mystery box sort of thing. And there's still like a little bit of mystery to be had, but at least like we're getting answers to things. We're not going to be left in the dark with this, we might be left with more questions, I'm sure, by the season finale, but at the very least we're getting answers to stuff that we had, so we're not busy like having crazy theories about something that's not going to be a major thing, and we can focus on what we want to focus on, which is the characters and this relationship. And I think I love this episode because it very much is just looking at like relationships, and a new relationship. And I think that's a lot of fun. And I will say, as far as Pentultimate episodes go, a little bit, it didn't feel Pentultimate-y, I guess, to me. We did get a lot of lore dumps, but I think not as like what I expected most Pentultimate. And again, that might be the high expectations we put on Vince Gilligan Pentultimate episodes. And again, a lot happened, but it did feel a little bit more understated than I expected, but I still loved it, I still loved it kind of sticking its ground. Like, this is a show, this is a story we're trying to tell. And it's really solidifying it as something new and different that we haven't seen before, and just something that keeps us talking, which I really loved about it. Yeah. But yeah, speaking of, I will say you said the possibility that they're both playing each other. There's a huge theory that we didn't really talk about last week, but has come out since the and has been a major argument in a lot of our comments too, in our comment section, right? I find it very interesting. A lot of people were saying like that turn at the end of the episode, her going to the hive mind, like that, it's all her manipulating. It's all her playing a game. She's playing the hive. You missed it. She's trying to, turn the hive. She's pretending to get on their side, I hate this theory. I don't like it. I don't understand it, but that's what people want. They're like, no, you guys are wrong. She's not lonely and wants to be with a person. She's playing the hive. She's playing a game. I guess I want to know what your thoughts are on that before I say my own. What do you think of this theory? Is she playing the hive?
I'm different. I read the comments too, from Sweaty Wife. Sweaty Wife had a lot of opinions too. So no, I do not think she is like a mastermind. She's not a fucking Walter White mastermind, blah, blah, blah. Like, and to be honest, Walter White was also not that much of a mastermind. If we're being so for real right now, a lot of his shit, just like, he is very smart, but a lot of his stuff was also luck. Like it was just like a lot of luck also played into his games. I do not think Carol is a mastermind. I think that Carol is so human. Carol is so human that she cannot take being alone for so long after the tragedy of her wife passing away or her partner passing away, and also humanity essentially passing away. She needs any scrap of humanity that is there. And she does need that. I mean, there is a game going on. She is playing them too, but it is not it is not discounting. I can't say it.
Discounting?
I'm already drunk. It is not discounting her need for humanity, for an emotional connection in any way, shape, or form that it comes, right? Like you even saw it with like the dog, like how she was just like so like drawn to the dog, and like, you know what I mean? She is craving that, and it could be two. It could be both things at the same time, in my opinion.
Can be both.
It can be both, but she is not a gung ho. Oh, I'm doing this, and this, and this. I really don't think so. She's complex. She's like Shrek. She has layers.
Yeah.
People think she's like Shrek. Like in the beginning, how Shrek portrays himself, right? Like, oh, like I'm an ogre. I need to be by myself, blah, blah, blah. Donkey comes along. Fiona comes along. And then it's like, what? The fairy tale creatures come along and it's like, okay, then what? You know what I mean? Come to find out, you can't do it alone.
We all need a donkey in our life. Let's just talk about Shrek. Listen, I think the theory of Carol playing the hive does two things very badly. One, it gives a lot of credit to Carol, and I don't think we've seen any evidence that Carol is that good of an actor. Yeah. She's, in fact, probably like one of the worst liars that we've had, one of the worst actors that we've had. So there's no way that she can pretend to like the hive long enough for her to be in this thing. And then also it very much undermines that entire episode. It undermines the emotions that she went through. It undermines what we're latching onto with Carol of this loneliness and this need for humanity, this need to exist. To just say like, oh, it's not about her feelings. It's about her wanting to save humanity. It's about her wanting to play the hive, and it's all a game for her. I was like, no, these feelings existed. These feelings are real, and I don't want to undermine that. And I don't know why the audience that loves Carol so much would want to undermine that. It's very important that we notice, like, no matter what your mission is, no matter what your goal is, that you can still succumb to like the loneliness of these things, right? To be so single-mindedly focused on this one mission is a lonely act in itself, and that it's not even if that is how we view Carol, that she is the savior of humanity. That's a hard it's a hard place to be when you're the only one doing it. It's a hard place to be. And these emotions are real. And these emotions are things that we can succumb to. And like, we all need human beings. I don't know. So I don't like undermining those feelings or emotions at all.
And it just like, it also like reminds me like or a couple episodes back when she was like play acting, like I am the savior. I am that, like just straight up staunchly just being that way. Mm-hmm. And we've seen since those episodes, just like that derides. No, fades away. Right.
Corrodes.
Sorry.
Corrodes.
Bitch. I am not drunk, I promise. No, but we do see that facade just like fade away. Mm-hmm. And we actually see what's going on with her. So we did see that. She did trek it. You know what I mean? She tried. But it's incredibly difficult to hold to be that person when you're not that person. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. And being that type of person, I will say, is very, very rare. Mm-hmm. And even if you are that person, it's hard to hold that by yourself. Mm-hmm. You know, like you can't do things alone. I do think that that's like the point of all of this. It's like, if you want to be that person or whatever type of person you want to be, you can't do it alone. Like you need your other person, like you need your tribe, like you need your, you know, whatever, I don't know, but you can't do it alone. That's it. Mm-hmm. And you can't just hold things alone. And I feel like that's what she's been doing, not just after the event, but like her whole life, her entire life, she's been holding things like alone. And Helen tried to help, you know, Helen was there helping, but now, I love the show.
Sounds a little bit like you're coming around to Carol a little bit.
Listen, can I not stand her? Yes. Oh, no, actually, no, that's not true. You're right. Because in the beginning, like she was just very much like Shrek. Like she was just like, oh, you can't stand this bitch. And then like, and I'm talking about Shrek. And and then all of a sudden, things just start revealing themselves. The character starts unfolding. And that's the whole point. Like that is like literally, you are supposed to feel this way. You are supposed to not like her. You are supposed to develop empathy. You are supposed to develop understanding of her and the world that you're in. That is the journey that we are on. I do not prescribe to black and white thinking. Like I absolutely hate her. No, like I am ready to understand what is going on. Mm-hmm. You know, I am ready
unless
to
we're
understand.
Rage baiting, which is clearly what we're.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I honestly, like, I know how to rage bait.
Okay.
I know how to rage bait because I was doing it kind of naturally.
Yes, yeah.
Like I rage bait very naturally. And then I figured out, oh, like people like literally do this for a living.
Yes.
Could I do this? Yeah, I could make thousands of dollars rage baiting. And I don't for you, sweaty wife. I don't.
Okay, I got this comment from Ripa on TikTok, and it led to like an interesting conversation. I know we keep bringing it up and up and up again, but I think it's such an interesting convo when we talk about Carol and like how likable she is or whatever. Ripa said, I think a lot of the disconnect is semantics. For example, Tony Soprano is depressed, a racist, a womanizer, and straight up murders people. I would never be friends with the guy or even share a beer out of fear for my own safety. But after all of that, I wouldn't call him unlikable. I still rooted for him throughout the entire show, because I like the guy despite his major flaws. I feel like if he were actually unlikable, I would lose interest or would want him to get caught or get taught a lesson or something. In short, if unlikable equals has faults, then every imperfect, i.e. good protagonist is therefore unlikable. Instead, isn't this just a case of a show having an anti-hero? I think it's an interesting conversation. I commented back, anti-hero, I think, is specifically what Vince Gilligan in the show did. Well, is what he does, but also did not want to do in the show. He didn't want to write anti-heroes anymore. So I hesitate to label Carol as an anti-hero. Okay. But anti-hero in the unlikable conversation is often what we find with Vince Gilligan shows, Vince Gilligan characters, and these kind of characters where we know that they have unlikable traits. Yeah. But we still are rooting for them. Yeah. So I think there is a disconnect, but I also am not sure I agree that unlikable equals has flaws. because flaws can be found in all of our characters and they can still be likable. And these faults or whatever are still there. We kind of need them to be there in our characters. Again, we like a character on an arc. Without faults or things, we're not human. Part of these faults make us human.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this as something that I've been trying to like kind of write about or think about. And I think about, there's a conversation of what makes a character likable. And the most famous thing is being Save the Cat, right? Technically, while I do not agree with all things in Save the Cat, or that you need a Save the Cat moment. I guess technically we haven't seen a Save the Cat moment from Carol, at least up until the point that we've been talking about her, right? And I think about, well, what is the actual Save the Cat moment? What are these things that we find in these characters that we do find likable? And to me, there's this feeling of sacrifice, of putting others before yourself, that I feel like is ultimately what could be the difference between an unlikable and a likable character. Do I see this character being able to sacrifice for others? And I think for Carol, absolutely not. There's never been a moment for those first like 7 or 8 episodes where I felt like she would sacrifice for anyone. Me, that she would put anyone else before herself.
Right.
People constantly talk about how she wants to save humanity, and I'm still of the mindset is like that that's never been her goal. It's never, she says
totally agree.
She puts these words out there, but it's not something that she actually cares about. She doesn't care about humanity.
She wants things to go back to the way that they were.
Yes. For herself.
For herself.
Yes.
And it just so happens humanity's wrapped in there, right? Humanity serves her.
Yeah.
That's it. Like that's why it's not something outside of her.
Yeah. And there are moments where I think you wanted to bring up other characters too. I haven't seen much of The Sopranos. Obviously, we've talked about Walter White. I think about Tony Soprano or Walter White, where they are unlikable characters and bad people who do bad things. But there's a moment where you probably assume like, well, when it comes to, I don't know, their children or their wife or their family, there's nothing they want to do. They would maybe put them first. Walter White, I think, constantly goes away from that. He gets worse over time.
Yeah.
But there's a moment where like there's something sacrificial about him where he might do something for Jesse if he wasn't too busy being an asshole to Jesse,
right. So the difference between a Carol and a Walter White, I haven't really seen The Sopranos, or even I've seen Mad Men.
Yeah.
So I think that the biggest difference for me is power. Walter White is a powerful person and wields his power the way that he thinks he should or shouldn't or whatever it is. People find that very attractive. Power is attractive. And I think that's why you still root for Walter White, because he is very much in power and he's playing a game that he wants to win and can possibly win. You root for people that will win or that are trying to win, regardless if it's good or bad. Right. And again, power is so attractive. And I think that for somebody like Carol, she is in this situation incredibly powerless. And she used to have power. She used to have power in the regular anti-Hive, pre-Hive world, right?
Yes.
She's a very powerful person. And she has lost all of that power and she's trying to regain it. And I think that's why people might not find her likable or might not root for her so much, or are trying to put something on her that is just so not her. Right.
Yeah. Again, an entitlement to that power. Like she feels like she needs it. Right. Another friend of mine brought up the idea that Walter White specifically like has been dealt a very, very bad hand. Right. So we recognize a lot of like what's been dealt to him, whereas where things go wrong, not necessarily because of his control, and he has to constantly try and fix things, right? And we root for him in these things. Whereas Carol, a lot of the problems come from her. Like it's just not like, yes, I guess humanity being taken over is a bad hand for, I guess, anyone, right?
Yeah.
But we see that the way other people have dealt with it, she creates her own problems in that. She is doing a lot of the bad hands herself, as opposed to the difference of being dealt a bad hand and having to be like
having to deal with that.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. And it's the same with, wait, have you seen Mad Men?
I have, yes.
You have. Okay. Yeah.
2 seasons. I need to catch.
Yeah. Well, yeah, then you get the gist.
Yeah.
It is kind of similar with,
Don Draper.
Yes, it is a little similar with Don Draper as well, where he was dealt a bad hand in life. Literally the day he was born of a prostitute.
Mm-hmm.
And then the man, his father died, and then he was just like passed along to some aunt and some family that hated him growing up. He did what he had to do, but it was a very bad thing. Right. It was a bad thing what he did. It's a pretty terrible thing. And then he has continued to do incredibly terrible things throughout his life. So I don't know, like the excuse of like being dealt a bad hand my brain is like, it's going too fast. So the excuse of being dealt a bad hand, I don't know. I don't see it as an excuse to do bad things. I just don't. Same with Walter White. Okay. Like these are 2 like white guys that like, if they just literally if they worked a little harder or made different decisions or whatever it was, they would have been fine. You know, Walter White, had the cancer, blah, blah, blah. But didn't he not have the cancer later on? Like, wasn't that resolved? Right. So then it's like, now what's the excuse? You know what I mean? It's truly like, I feel like what these Vince Gilligan shows do is really show like who are you as a person and if an extraordinary event happens, like what comes out, who comes out, right? I know Mad Men, it's very similar. Extraordinary events happen to you and it's like, what do you do in those moments? Apparently you have to cheat on your wife 1 million times. So you have to, I don't know, kill a bunch of people, sell drugs.
When it comes to Don Draper, I'll be honest. I was at a time where like the reason I stopped watching Mad Men and I really needed to return to it is because it just became a show where everyone was sleeping with everyone. I was like, what is this show? Like it just felt like
I will say like it was very like I found when I was watching the show, I found it to be very relevant. I understand just like the 1960s, people are married, blah, blah, blah. But it's like when I saw it in like the early 2010s, like 2010 or whenever it was available on Netflix, like it was very relatable. It was like, oh yeah, like here's a man saying that he loves someone and wants to be with them, but then he's sleeping with 1 million people and he's having interactions and all these things with like 1 million people. And then they're in a position of power. Right. Like I found that very relatable in 2010 when I lived in New York as well. Like I met a lot of people like that. Not necessarily a married man in the ad business, but the mentality of having unresolved issues and trying to escape from them in this very harmful way. And that's what all of these shows are about, right? Yeah. Like even with Carol.
Yeah. So. I think it's really, I guess, I feel like we keep bringing this up because it's good conversation. I love bringing up this idea of like whether or not Carol is actually likable. I love actually talking about that. And I love that we can actually place Carol in the like pantheon of like unlikable characters that we learn to love or we learn to root for, you know, because I feel like she is somewhat becoming that, you know, as she like grows and becomes more complex and stuff like that. And I do understand there is like a gender bias,
of course,
out there.
I wanted to talk about that, and I genuinely wanted to talk about that because I have not talked about that in that way of like an unlikable woman. Like I have been told, I literally was talking about this on Saturday where I've been told that I'm too much. I've been told that, especially this year. And not content wise, I'm talking about like men, like people, like, have told me that I'm too much. And I genuinely like really relate to, you know, somebody like saying, oh, like, this character is unlikable because she's a woman. And I've said this and I have felt this, but I have never said it, but I'm like, I found Carol to be unlikable but it didn't mean I didn't want to stick around. And it absolutely had nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman. Like, I've always found Don Draper to be despicable, unlikable. And anytime, especially when I first saw that show, I felt so uncomfortable with his actions. Like, literally, I was just like, this is awful. Like, I felt uncomfortable. And I don't know. And it's so, I just wanted to say that because I very much relate to being a woman, and just, if you are somewhat assertive and have opinions, you are unlikable. You are too much. Like, I literally was having this conversation on Saturday. Like, I was just like, and it's like really sad because I don't feel like I'm too much. I don't feel like I'm unlikable. I feel like I'm doing what every other man or any other person would do. Right. And I feel the same way with Carol. Like, Carol has a lot of male characteristics, but it's in a woman form. And I find that so interesting and so rare that I want to keep watching, like, unlikable or not. Like, I feel like I should almost use another word because it is such a pejorative towards women and such a stereotype, and it sucks. And I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to say that because I understand. I've literally been told that too. And yeah, I can use a different word for her. We're on the last episode. And I'm like,
second to last episode.
I know. Right?
I don't know that. I don't think you need to. I think there's a big misunderstanding from having used that word again.
Yeah.
What this commenter said is like, it's about semantics, right? We're saying, I think we're just I like that we're having these kinds of conversations.
Yeah.
And, I mean, firstly, Natalie, when I send you an email giving you feedback, please don't bring it up on the podcast again. I'm just
it's like,
I'm just kidding.
No, but I do want to say that, like, I've talked about, we've worked together on set. Like, even the job that I was telling you, I got this shirt, Positive Vibes, because I, like, when I'm like, even when you're talking, right, I have this face. I'm just listening, right? Yeah. I'm listening. I'm like focusing. And when I got this shirt on this fucking show, like, I just had like these executives like literally tell me to smile.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I'm working 14 hours a day. I have no days off, by the way, 14 hours and no days off. Yeah. And so they were telling me to smile. So that's another part of this shirt. But even on the show, on what we worked on too, like, I'm very serious. Like, I'm very serious when I'm on set, and I'm very focused, and I'm not like, I'm not like trying to look pretty, like for camera. Like, I'm very focused, and, cause I'm not on camera. Right. And I have to be, and I have been told so many times that, like, I have a resting bitch face, or I am unlikable, or I need to, like, be more. And I'm just like, and I know it's because I'm a woman. There's no way around that.
There are these weird societal expectations, and again, gender biases that we put of like what women are allowed to be, what men are allowed to be. And I think we recognize that. I think we both would recognize that. Obviously, if I was the first one to bring up Carol's so unlikable, I feel like it would have just come out differently.
Of course. But then it's like I don't want to come off as like I have like internalized misogyny or anything like that. And that's why I'm saying these anecdotes, because it's like it's like almost like, in a way, I guess when I say that, I want to subvert it. I do understand like the heaviness when I do say that. However, like, this character is written in a very, very, very specific way. You are not, I don't feel like you are supposed to root for her. Maybe that's wrong.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. It's really weird.
Maybe that's wrong, but it's, this isn't like a very friendly person. She is not a friend to all. This woman is not like, she's not like me. When I go to a bar, I'm yapping. I want to talk to anybody. When we rap on set, I'm everybody's friend. Like, I will, you know what I mean? But with Carol, it's like, she's not a very like, oh my God, like, yeah, come over. Let's hang out. Let's vibe. That is absolutely not her, and that's wonderful. That's okay. Women are complex. Like, I don't know. But she's not a friendly ghost. Like she's not.
I think for me, they talk a lot. The Hive has used this term, the gift, right? That they have been given. And while I feel like we keep having these conversations and these arguments online about Carol and like what people are understanding or misunderstanding, I think at the end of the day, what a great gift we have been given in a Carol, in a show like such as this.
Yeah.
As we're like reflecting on the penultimate episode and Carol's journey so far, the fact that we've gotten so much to look at and to, I guess, reflect on and revise and figure out like do we have our own gender biases? Do we have our own things that we're baggage that we're bringing into this and projecting onto Carol? But the gift that Vince has given us and Ray Seahorn has given us in this character to allow these conversations to have this litmus test of a show.
Because it's like I feel this way about Zosha's character too, where she is very much acting like a very friendly, welcoming woman. She is. She serves. She is there to serve. She is there to make what's her name, Carol, happy. But it is very, very much a stereotype, and it is very much the opposite of what Carol is, and what, you know what I mean? Like it's if that's not obvious, it's like, sorry, I'm like, okay, I need to stop drinking. Like, I just don't know. I just find it like so interesting where like Zosha's acting like a stereotypical woman in a serving type of role. I don't want to say
subservient.
I was about to say subservient, but I don't want to because I feel like people will come out and kill me. So, but in a sense,
the Hive has played a subservient role in general,
of course, in their lives, and it's like, so like Zosha's acting like a very subservient, serving, selfless type of person, where somebody literally tried to kill her, and that person said, "I'm sorry, come back," and came back like this. Like, if that's not a woman, I don't know what else is. Women do that all the time. They take back those men. They take back those people, just as long as you show a little bit of remorse, like it's fine. Right. But it's like, that is something that like women do. Not all women, obviously we're talking very general broad strokes here, but like, it's that. And I think that's how they are written. They are supposed to be yin and yang. They're supposed to be the opposite of each other. Yeah. So.
And I love this. I love that idea of the Hive and the show kind of like reevaluating what our gender biases are, because there have been, the Hive people have really, really hated the Hive, not understood like why we can be so anti-Carol and so I guess like pro-Hive, which we are not necessarily pro-Hive, but the hatred for the Hive has been palpable. But at the end of the day, they do in ways represent the reasons. I wonder like how much of that is very intentional on Vince Gilligan's part to almost represent them as the matriarchal side of what we would view, like what would a woman in power be, which is very like, this matriarchal, not subservient, but like, helps others, kind of pacifistic, patient, caring, these things that sometimes we in real life have criticized, like, can a woman be in power or can they not, kind of thing, right? Because of these things, and the Hive represents these good things that we always like associate with women as opposed to masculinity, or I guess associate with femininity as opposed to like masculinity, and yet people are like, are choosing to hate on the Hive because it was, done without consent. I get it.
Yeah.
But not looking at like, but what are they showing us? Like, who are they really? Yeah. And it's an interesting.
It is really interesting. It's like, oh my God, everything has layers. Like, we're all so complicated, right? Like, it's like at the end of the day, and I want to point out that Carol is having, she's having a lot of moments with Zoja, right? A lot of moments with the Hive. It's not just, it's the Hive, right? And so she is succumbing to that softness, that the placating, kind of placating, but the flirty, the softness, the fun, you know, the connection.
Yeah.
But like we said, at the end of the day, this has a lot of layers.
Yeah.
And at the end, she was like, they eat people, period. Right? Period. They eat people. It doesn't matter. Like, and I really loved that moment. Like, cause I was in it too. I was like, oh my God, they're flirting. You know, she's using the word I instead of we, and this is great. And then, right, they do. They do eat
there's
people.
this thing.
Dang, yeah. Never mind. You know,
Is
boundary. It's a boundary, and I like that boundary.
It's a red flag.
I like
this might be. This might be a red flag.
Oh my God. Yeah. I do like that she remembered that she is still, she might not be the leader of the mission, but she is still on that mission though.
Yeah.
She's still very much pro humanity, not into the eating people of it all. So
And I think there is not the eating people part, but just to like looking at those layers that you're saying is that, hey, we might need both, you know, doing an extreme from one way to another. We see the difference. Like when Carol goes to one extreme and then it goes in opposition with like where the Hive is going. And maybe we need both. Maybe for humanity to survive and to exist, like we need a little bit of some of this patience and calmness and stuff. And then maybe a little bit more like headstrongness and you know, maybe a little bit bitchiness as Manousos' mother, you know, was, right? Like humanity can't survive just from being like one thing, you know. And I think that's might be what the show's about. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
You know, what is the Hive missing and what are we missing, right?
Don't know.
People keep talking about, well, if you join the Hive, like this is what we're missing as humanity. It's like, yes, sure, but like what is Carol missing that the Hive could show her, right? Like, I think that's what the Hive represents. Is like, what are we missing as humanity that the Hive brings, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, being one or the other is probably not going to be great. Again, lots of good conversation that can be had. We haven't even really gotten into the episode, Natalie, so I feel like we should get into. No, we have started. I'm just very bad at like, I have to keep things in order, Natalie. I'm like so structured.
I like
What
this.
do people want in our podcast? I don't know. Just a loosey goosey. Should we be more loosey goosey, or should we be very, very structured and not move on too far? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Don't forget the microphone, Natalie.
I want to adopt her.
Manousos wakes up in the hospital. We get a little brief scene with him, and he holds the Hive at knife point, scalpel point, insists on getting the bill, and he writes an IOU of the exact itemized bill. I find this a little frustrating. If anything, it's like one of my most frustrating things when it comes to characters, this trope of a character like refusing medical help when probably you're going to die without it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like, I find that very, very interesting. I mean, his stubbornness, and I just kind of like hate that. I hate that he's like so stubborn. And I was like, these probably like, yes, they're the enemy, I guess. Like, we see Manousos is clearly at war. Like he doesn't even want to accept help.
So,
and I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, I just say he's just a man of principle.
Yes.
He has principles.
But is that principle going to get you killed?
Yeah,
because
definitely.
He's the one that made the mistake. He'd be fine if he didn't, you know, stumble and accidentally land on the spikes, you know, like he would be dead without them.
That's true. Yeah, but yeah, I know. It's interesting. I don't know. I think it's just honestly to show like the opposite of Carol, where Carol is just like very happy and willing to succumb and to, you know, play ball with the Hive. And he is just like, no, like, I think it's written that way to show that, if I'm being honest.
No, absolutely.
Because it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like,
absolutely. But I also, I think that he's going to have to get over these things too at some point, right? He's got to at least learn to accept he's getting to that point where he's now the isolation and the things are becoming like his fault, right? It's like, you're doing it, right? This is why it's hard to get close to you, is because you're so focused, you're so determined, and you believe you're at war.
Right.
Again, that's a fine place. If we're at war, right? And like, I get it. But if someone saves your life, and I feel like that's at least, and you're already, at that point, you're already saying like, I owe you, okay, man of principle, I'm going to give them the money. I'm going to take the receipt. I am not going to do this without, at least paying someone back. I was like, well, you've already taken it. Then at least take some medications with you, right?
Yeah.
Take some ibuprofen with you. He does take an ambulance, I guess. But I was like, I don't know, maybe like at least a list of things that I need to do better. Hey, doc, like what should I, should I at least use some hydrogen peroxide every hour or whatever, as opposed to just, making it up as he goes along. Maybe his knowledge goes so far as where he's fine. Again, maybe his training and whatever he's got going on with him, he knows how to deal with this stuff. And that's great. He's a very smart guy, but
very smart.
Man, character is just stubbornly like not paying attention to the many doctors that the Hive mind represents.
I know.
I wasn't smart enough to notice this, and I probably would have forgotten about it had they not brought it up. Why is it that Manousos can hold up the Hive at knife point and the Hive doesn't freak out? But then when Carol's has her outbursts, there's a huge.
Well, we don't know that yet.
We don't know.
We don't know that, and it could be.
Is there a difference because of how calm he does it? Do you think?
I don't.
Is it because she's special, or because we haven't seen anyone else freak them out? And Manousos is.
His emotions are a bit more in check, and they're more, even if it is like an aggression, it is very calculated, and you kind of see it coming. It's, you know what I mean? Like with Carol, it's very much like a sudden outbursts of anger, and it's not very controlled, unlike Manousos.
Very chaotic.
Yeah. But either way, they still have established that these things, like, to me, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, like people might have died. Like, I don't know. I just kind of took it like that, Do you think he would have killed one of them? Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think that was shown. He does not give a fuck. He really doesn't. He doesn't care about his car. Yeah. He doesn't care about his mom. Like, there is nothing that can shake this person, period. Again, unlike Carol, like, there's nothing that can shake this man. So yeah, I definitely think he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't see them. He does not see them of this world. He does not see them as human.
Absolutely.
And he sees them as people that stole everything that they have. Easily, I could see him killing someone.
I think if there was actually like a threat to his life, maybe. But I think I do disagree. I think that there's a part of him that, like you said, he's so principled. He wouldn't take a life of someone he believes is not in control of their own body. Right. I do think that there's still something there where, like, I don't know. I think they saw that it was a bluff. They know enough about Manousos that maybe that there was some sort of bluff going on there. They knew he wasn't going to actually do it, because Manousos isn't that kind of person. He believes that everything they took was stolen. He knows that this is not a person, that if this individual comes back, he doesn't want to be responsible for killing this individual who is not in control of their own functions, right?
Yeah.
Now, again, if his life was threatened, that would be different, But I do wonder. I don't know that he would have done that. I think his principles go so far as to not have, maybe, like, that this was just a bluff. And maybe they saw a little bit through that, which makes the Hive mind a little smarter than I've given him credit for, I don't know.
Oh.
It could be both, though.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Do you think he would have done it? Get in the comments.
Don't tell him that.
What? Oh. And then the rest of our episode, after Manousos. Do you have any more to say about Manousos before
really.
we move on to Carol and Zosha and their
Yeah, no, we can move on.
budding relationship?
Yeah, we can move on.
I feel like we can't, because I brought it up a little bit with the feedback from the theorizing as we go into this episode and what the episode's really going to be about following Zosha and Carol. This episode is called Charm Offensive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious if you have any thoughts on who's doing the charming on this episode. Who is on the offense? What is this title? Who is this title referring to?
I think it's both. I said that earlier. I really think it's both. I think that they're both playing this game and it's like a game of chicken. I don't know who's going to win. I really don't. Like, obviously you kind of want it to be Carol.
What does winning mean?
What does winning mean? Yeah. What does winning mean? I think winning means getting rid of this fucking hive. That's what it ultimately means. It's either the hive stays and humanity goes or vice versa. And humanity is like a handful of people, which includes Carol. Like, that's what it means. Like, and the charm offensive is that. The charm offensive is like seeing who can deceive and manipulate who the fastest or the best. Maybe not even the fastest. Sorry, the best. Right. I don't know, man.
Well, yeah, I think it could be both. I think that most of our audience went into this episode assuming that this was part of the reason why Carol was playing the hive. You know, they saw the title of the episode. They knew it was going to be like, this is what she's doing. She's charming them in order to deceive them, to learn more about them. But I don't think that was the case at all.
Yeah.
And again, I think we'll get into it. I think that undermines a lot of her actual, true, real feelings. And I think a charm offensive is just from mostly the hive.
Yeah.
This episode. But this is really about Zosha and the hive charming Carol.
Correct.
And I don't know if it's a deceitful way. I don't think they're lying to her. I think they're showing her exactly like who they are. And that's all they want to do is they want to, again, to be known. Right. And I love that. There's a little bit of maybe love bombing going on. Maybe we can talk about that. I don't know if you'd consider it love bombing, resurrecting a diner and bringing back all these nostalgic feelings and putting on a performance. Is that love bombing? Would you think that's the equivalent of chocolates and flowers, or do you think that's a little bit more?
Yeah. I think it's definitely the equivalent of a nuclear bomb. Are you kidding? Listen, if some guy did that for me, it'd be a wrap.
It'd be a wrap.
It'd be a wrap. And there have been some romantic things that have happened at me recently. Yeah. But if some man recreated,
so this has set a new bar for you.
Oh my God. Recreating, like, I'm like, oh, I can imagine, like, okay, like she was like in her 20s. I'm like recreating, I literally have a diner in New York. I used to go to this diner all the time. And I'm like, if they recreated like the diner I used to go to, this is like the equivalent of like,
and the going waitress, to what is it in How I Met Your Mother Ted brings I think Robin, he recreates like the first date that they had or something, right? It's sweet, but it's like it's a lot. I think in the context of the episode too, it's like it becomes like, hey, Ted, you're a lot.
Yeah.
He does do these love bombing things, but they recreate these moments.
Like, honestly, I want to talk about love. I mean, I don't want to love bombing bad. Yes. Okay. But it's like, I guess like, is it bombing if it's like you also accept it? Do you know what I mean?
Let's talk about that. No, for sure.
Yeah,
I think that's like, that goes part of like where this episode goes, it's
like, oh, okay, like you have like really positive feelings around like this grand gesture. And like, is it bombing if you also like it too? Like, I don't know. I like when people express like what they feel. I'm trying to think of like a time where I ever felt like, oh, this is too much. Like, I don't think I've ever felt that way.
It depends on your viewpoint or your mindset at that time, right? Do I want this? Am I looking for this?
Wait.
Do I feel this way about the relationship?
You know what? No,
Yeah.
I will say, okay, wait. Like, yeah, no, okay, see, I'm different. I'm just different. But like I've had like really like grand gestures, like big things. And like in the moment, I love it. Like the gesture itself, I love. But then I'm like, I don't want to be with you. Like, you know what I mean? I never took the gesture, the building of the building, like the recreation of the building to be bad because I loved it. I would love that. I would love it. And I would be in the moment and I would experience it and it would be great. But it's the after where I'm just like, okay, they did this. Do I want to continue with this person regardless if they did this or not? You know, so the gesture I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything, but it's like, I don't know. It's just fun. Like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I think that's in the context, especially of this episode. I think it's a good question to raise in terms of like, is the hive mind love bombing or are they doing something genuine? Right? Is this charm offensive manipulative, which is typically love bombing is a manipulative tactic used by, you know, typically domestic abusers, people who are emotionally abusive and men who are very bad about it being a relationship and don't know any other way but to love bomb you in order to get something that they want. Yeah, that's true.
Right? And that's the ultimate question. Yeah. Like, is this love bombing in the way that we would typically see that in that negative viewpoint? Or is it a genuine grand gesture of someone that feels like, we know you, Carol, and you would appreciate this. And Carol's being a person that typically doesn't accept these kinds of things. Yeah. Doesn't like the grand gesture, would very much not love this even in like real, you know?
And I will say actually, like when you frame it like that, it's like, like I've had experiences like that where like they will do a big thing or whatever. And it does hook you because you think something real is coming after when nothing really does. Right. So yeah, I get it. And I've had the opposite where like, it's been super genuine and it's been reciprocated and it's great, but like is it empty? And she feels like it is. She feels like this is empty. So she left. She ran away.
She got scared.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't talk about that, but I guess my main question is like, do you feel like they are manipulating or do you feel like there's a genuine want to
No, of course they're
manipulating. Carol.
No, I mean, of course they're manipulating.
You think so?
Oh my God. Yeah. From day one.
Okay. I disagree. I think in terms of what we're seeing throughout this entire episode, that it might actually be genuine.
I don't know about that because day one, Zoja popped up and that's the person on the book. So that's it. They gave away the game the first day, the first moment or the next day after the event. They brought someone in that was literally on the book cover. Clearly they already know that Carol would be attracted to this person, you know, and physically, mentally, whatever it is, they already, I think they kind of already won. So anything that happens, they are definitely using her tone, her voice, her physicality, her beauty. They have all the thoughts. They have Helen's thoughts. They have everything to know exactly how to play Carol like a fucking fiddle. She's cooked, in my opinion. And clearly we saw that happen. We saw her get very, very cooked.
I love this. I love that we see it. I love that we see it differently. I think it's so amazing.
I do too.
I am thinking, where is the book talk right now? Because this is enemies to lovers if I've ever fucking seen it.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here watching this love story and being like, oh, this is so amazing. I'm like, it's so romantic and stuff. And I get that. I just love it as a metaphor for relationships.
Yeah.
And then you got the added benefit. It's like, okay, yes, there's a hive mind. And I guess it's bad. I'm like, I don't know. I love both.
It is such a metaphor for relationships. I do. And mind you, like, I loved it. Clearly, I'm like, oh my God, I want a guy to build me like this diner from Astoria, like from when I was in my 20s, like, and to bring in the waitress that I thought, you know, I'm like, yeah, like I would fucking love that. Like, I loved it. I loved it. And like the way that like they did breakfast in the morning, I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Like, you know, they're like the mango story. We can get into that. Like, I'm like every single beat that they hit in terms of like them having a relationship, it was very like book talk or just like, if I'm being
even
honest,
down to the arguments that they have,
even down to the arguments, it's like, it's very much like the romantic in me or the, you know, the person that like, I long for things like that too. Yeah. Like it was, if I'm being honest, it was beautiful. Yeah. If you're in that moment, it is actually really beautiful, but we're watching a show.
But you're not falling for it.
No, that shit is so, and that's the thing is that like, even in a regular relationship, when you are intimate in that way, when you are intimate sexually, when you are sharing details about your life, like the more ingrained, entrenched, enmeshed you become. And so when you become more and more enmeshed with someone, they can manipulate you. They can hurt you even more than you want them to. But now imagine it's a hive. It's a hive mind. And that's happening, right? It's like, it's such a mind fuck. Like, anyway, but Carol's a writer, so I'm sure she sees it.
Oh my gosh, this is such great conversation.
Yeah. See what happens when I have a glass of Prosecco.
I'm assuming haven't eaten, no water, and just Prosecco.
I had coffee.
Okay, good.
Okay, yeah.
I don't want to jump too far ahead as usual because we haven't even talked about they go on a few dates, you know, and it starts off with these games. What did I bring up last week? If you want to get to know someone you're dating, like play games, play board games, right? And this is what I did. I mentioned it.
I did that on Saturday.
I said, you want to know who this person is, get active with them. First start with games and then like do something like volleyball or whatever. What do? They start with some card games. They start with board games and then they go on to some croquet and they do a spa date together, you know? There's some interesting, they go hiking. All the people that put like, I love hiking and their bio, and this is it. I feel like the lesbians need to get in the chat because I feel like that's also like a big.
I'll ask my sisters. My lesbians aren't watching it. I don't know why. My sisters, my friend, my other friend. Yeah, I have a lot of lesbians in my life. They are not watching the show though.
Feel like this episode is right up their alley.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. What did you think of the playing games? You mentioned the great line that she had. It's like playing. It's like playing with Google.
Like playing with fucking Google. Honestly, though, like she said that and I was like, I get that. Like it's just like when somebody's like really good at my friend's head, he's very good at board games or just any type of games like card games or whatever. And it is playing like, it's like you can't win. Like there's no, it's not fun. It's just not fun. Like
what game would you play with the Hive? Especially if you're trying to figure out any, because I feel like not using Risk is a very missed opportunity. Yes, great game. Whatever they chose was a great game because there's no strategy that can really go into it. It's just you have to be of the moment, right? So I good game that Carol chose, but I feel like what a missed opportunity to just figure out how do they think. If you're talking about a game that is about world domination, which she brings up with Risk, like why not figure out like, oh, what are they doing? What are they thinking?
Risk.
If she was manipulating them, which I don't think that she is trying to do. So
it's not a board game, but I would love to play Civilization with
like a video game. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a video game. It's like it's like essentially like you just start with the dawn of civilization and you play an emperor, a prince, like whatever. You can play like, you can play as like Queen Elizabeth, right? And it's like the dawn of civilization for your empire. And then you go throughout time. And I would love to see what the Hive thinks of human civilization throughout time. Because you basically have to make decisions like, do you want to kill the barbarians? Do you want to make friends with city states? Do you want to create enemies? Do you want to be a militaristic society? Like, do you want to be more of a benevolent society? Do you want it to be more socialist? Like, there's just like so many like very micro and macro decisions that you have to make. And I wonder like what the Hive would do, like watching the Hive like play it out would be really interesting. There is a co-op feature as well.
Especially with their, you know, pacifistic ways and their inability to hurt. Like, what would they do if presented with certain options? Like, this is how you have to do things. It's a very interesting thought experiments, you know, in terms of the Hive. You know, would they get into like a first person shooter or whatever? You know?
Exactly. Would they play Final Fantasy 14 online?
Sorry, hold on a second.
Would they play a cat girl?
What video games would these guys play? And does the muscle memory also apply to the video games as it does? I think that'd be very, very interesting. We still have more questions. Let's just say that. But yes, they play some board games. They go play croquet. We get a little bit of sarcasm from.
Oh, right.
They're learning. So much hair on here.
I know, it's kind of.
Yeah, they're learning. I think a little bit of Helen comes out as well.
Oh.
In this, where was it where she was like, "Oh, you poor tortured artist," and she kind of did that little kind of negging that like Helen had done, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of negging going on, a little bit of Helen coming out. Carol doesn't call this out at all. Mm-hmm. The moments that they use clear knowledge of Helen, she's like, "You're missing a knight or something. You're missing a chess piece. You know, don't forget. You know." So clearly, this is information they got from Helen, and then also that like little bit of sarcasm, that little bit of negging and stuff.
Yeah.
How do you feel? I think I had like a mix of emotions when that was happening. You know, it's same. I liked it, but also like it's manipulative. Mm-hmm. It's very manipulative. To me, it was just very obvious. Like, it was just very obvious that this is not what this is for a goal. This is not because the Hive wants to flirt with this 50-something-year-old woman. And you know what I mean? There's clearly a goal and intention. And like I liked it for a split second, but then it was like back. And it was the same with the diner. It was like, I liked it for a second, but it was like, no, wait, like they eat people. Like, this is not, the Hive mind is not here to have fun. Like, they're not here to enjoy themselves. Like how with the massage scene as well. Massage scene. Yeah. It was the same thing. Like, it's like they can feel things in that very specific body that they have. But it's not for their enjoyment. It's not for their pleasure. I guess not, but I don't, because when you say like there's a goal there, I'm trying to understand what the goal is besides love, right? Or their form of it, right? To assimilate Carol is this because they view themselves like they love the people that gave them this gift. They love Kepler 22s, you know, whoever they are. Keplons, as Kepler? I think Carol wrote on her whiteboard, Keplons, who were the Keplons. Yeah, so it's like they said, we don't know who they are, but we have a love for them. All of this is like in pursuit of what they view as like assimilating or bringing people in is an act of love for them. Again, manipulative, not how we would view it. I get that. But to them, I think it's that's how they would express it, right? I think that they have a goal, and in order to express that goal, they are equating it to human love. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that it actually is. So if the goal is to replicate, they said that they want to continue to do this. The way that they express that is saying that it is love. Mm-hmm. You know, like being human that's a big part of the human experience, is connecting and feeling love, and affection and attachment to other people, right? To procreate. Their way, they think that they are doing, actually, they know that they are not doing the same thing, but to express it, that's the only thing that they can equate it to. But it is not the same. Like spreading a virus to colonize and conquer other planets is not the same as love. That is not love. That is
that is power, that is conquering, that is colonizing. You know, that's how I see it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess we won't know. We won't have any answers until we know for sure, like what they're really going to be about, you know? And I think that's going to be a multiple years long journey with this hive mind.
Yeah.
You know, are we stuck with them, or is this something that we can reverse and change or whatever? And it's a matter of perspective and like how you view it. I find it so very, very interesting. Yeah, my thing though about like the manipulative and like when Helen comes out, it does feel very off, you know?
Yeah.
It does feel very like I don't want to know how much of Helen is like still in there. And I think that would be a hard thing to accept if that's Helen, if this is part and parcel, like they're channeling Helen for this kind of thing. I think that feels wrong. Yeah. That feels manipulative. I have things I want to talk about when we get to the diner, but yeah, I think what I find more interesting is that Carol doesn't seem to clock it as much, or if she does, she's not against it anymore in a way that she doesn't outright say, don't do this. Right. I want Zosha. I don't want Helen, or I want you guys. I don't want, you know, like this, it's no longer Helen is off limits. There's something that Carol has been missing again, where I don't believe that she's the one particularly doing the charm offensive, that she's not the one particularly trying to play the hive, because there's a part of her that does want this. There's a part of her that is like craving this and enjoys these moments because that's what she had with Helen. And I think that Zosha and the hive through time has recognized that you need this, you need a little bit of this like negging. You need a little bit, you know, whatever. And she misses that. And she missed all of this.
Yeah. She married, and it's again, like it's her just like needing to connect with people also. And obviously missing Helen. Again, this is all manipulation. It's like missing Helen, needing to connect with people. I will say this though, at the same time, like gathering information. It hurts, but there is an end goal for it. So
yeah. Do you want to talk about the information that we've gathered, that we've learned? Is there anything, I guess, any questions that were answered that you just really enjoyed getting to learn more about, you know, about the hive?
I'm trying to remember. I can't really remember much. I didn't write this down, but the one thing that did stick out to me, the fact that they can feel their own bodies. And it doesn't mean that the entirety of humanity feels that. So it shows that, I don't know. I just found that like so interesting. I'm just like, does this mean that like there is some semblance of a person still in here? Does that mean that like they can have some sort of like individuality, like separate of the hive itself?
They can have separate experiences, but also know what's happening everywhere else. Yeah, it's really interesting.
It's really, really interesting. And it just kind of goes back to the body keeping score, like the body being a vessel, the body just, I don't know. Like I thought the bodies were just flesh, but the bodies can hold experience too, which I thought was so cool. And it's like, you know, very obviously, or maybe to some people or not, but it's like very like that's what happens with trauma. Like, it's like, you think like your body like experiences something and it's like fine, but it's like, no, like your body has its own experience before your brain does. You know what I mean? Like the body keeps score, like the body keeps count before your brain can even catch up to it. So it's very interesting that they were kind of describing that, to me at least. It kind of felt like that.
I liked the way that she talked about like no one could handle feeling everything all at once, right? That there's an overload of senses. And in today's day and age, that's very much true. You know, we're not part of a hive mind, but there's only so much we can handle of like bad news or whatever it is, things happening in the world. To feel everything all at once is rough. Having like radical empathy. I love people who are empathetic. I love being empathetic myself, but the people that really have like just this radical empathy and just feel everything, that's a lot to go through.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And so yes, the hive mind in a way like works as this like perfectly imperfect system where it knows that for humanity to keep going, and for these individuals to keep going, that they have to shut off some sort of hose,
right.
you know,
right.
and also give these like little individual experiences. Whether or not these individuals want these experiences, I don't know,
right.
but they do get to have these individual things in a way. And how much of the individual is in there? We get into this like later on. I find that very, very super, super interesting.
Yeah.
They go, there's two moments. We talked about the hiking and listening to the train and the train horn. She said it was like the loneliest sound in the world.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a beautiful shared moment of Carol again, just the main idea there being that she realized she had never shared this with anyone. No one that was part of a hive mind, that no one that is part of the hive mind has this memory of like her thoughts on a train horn. These small little moments of things that we carry with us, and we assume people know about us, right? I assume it's hard. It's always hard starting a new relationship because there's the things that we've told people before. There's the experiences we've gone through before, and you feel like you have to catch up people on these new relationships, especially the older we get. You know, the older I get, the more it's like harder to catch up people, and you assume some people have like know things. I think I've had this with my last experience, my last relationship, where I was like, I did work on the assumption. It's like, I thought you knew this about me. You know, I've been an open book. I've said these things, but then you forget. What have I told people? What have I not told people?
Oh yeah.
What have I been holding back that I haven't, you know? We forget that we are living these really rich, detailed stories. And when we encounter new people, we forget that they don't know certain things.
Yeah.
They have first impressions and stuff.
Yeah.
And I love that moment. I love her bringing up something kind of so small, but so poignant too. You know, it is really the loneliest sound in the world. I found that I was like, yeah, you're right. And then to hear the horn very faintly in the distance afterwards, I was like, yeah, she's kind of right. You know? But also, it's so cheesy, but like the horn going in the distance and just us barely hearing it and hearing that like lonely sound, that literally is the metaphor of what she's doing right then and there, of delivering this little bit of information that has big impact, but it's enough, right? It reaches someone's ear and it has this beautiful like impact, this little moment that no one knew about before. I don't know. I love that.
I love that. Yeah. I didn't even think about it. Like, yeah, definitely. But I was kind of stuck on the part where it's like, I must have told someone that.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, no, you didn't. And similar where it's like, it's also like, she probably has had that thought for so long too. And it's like something that she's just always thought of, but then like, you've just never said out loud, or you've never said it like with the person that you're seeing, you know, you're Helen, or, you know, whomever. And it's just like, oh yeah. Like, yeah, I don't know. I felt the same way.
And then you know, looking back on it, what did she keep from Helen? What did she forget? Like, what did we talk about? The things she took for granted before in their relationship.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, I didn't even get to tell Helen about this. I didn't even get to share this experience with Helen.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to be something that I feel like she's going to keep running into. Like, how much did I hold back? You know?
Like, that's so interesting. Yeah. Cause like, I feel like I personally feel that way too. Do I say everything or do I hold it back? Right. Or like, do I be honest? Am I honest in this moment, in this situation? Do I tell this story? Do I tell my thoughts? Or like, do I just stay quiet and not say anything and like just kind of like keep it to myself and not let anybody, not only into my inner world, but like my inner world, even from like my past, you know, like your experiences that you've had, like, yeah, I don't know. I just say shit. And then I'm like, and then I'm like, oh dang.
The truth is, I don't think this is a thing. It's not like she put up a barrier. It's like, no one can know this one thing about me. It's just more about the fact that like you can go your whole life loving
Yeah.
and knowing someone and maybe not even know this like one little
thing,
you know?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
But yeah, maybe
That's why I blab everything
Yeah.
in the beginning. I'm like, here you go. Here's everything.
but maybe Carol
at
is
it.
the train horn in the distance.
No,
you
yeah,
know?
but I will say, I think most people do what Carol has done. Like you do keep some things like close to your chest, and it's not on purpose. It's not necessarily on purpose. It's just like you're saying, like, it's just your inner world.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, the thing about trains too is like they're always in passing, you know, they're always in transit, right? There's the only purpose of a train is like to go forward. I think a train is just such a great metaphor for anything. And again, this little piece of information of like these people passing through our lives, this transition thing. And this is like what we're seeing is like, not only is the horn, maybe that little piece of information, you know, but also that like it's going, you know, and the moment is already passed us by.
Yeah.
You know, but we had it, we experienced it and we saw it and we felt it. And Zoja got to see it and feel it, you know, but it's going to go and they're going to move on. There's so
I know. Trains are very...
Talk about some symbolism.
Metaphor. What a great metaphor.
Yeah, maybe that'll be a good clip. I don't know.
I don't know.
They do go stargazing and we learn a lot about the world, that the aliens, they're coming. Maybe not.
I want them to come. I want them to come. Please come, aliens. Please. I want them to come so bad. Like, I want to see the aliens so bad.
I don't think we will. My personal belief is that it's been a long time. I think they're gone. I have a lot of questions about this alien thing, right? The information we get is that they are not connected to them. Obviously, the way that it works, we also learned in the previous scene, in the train scene, is how their telepathy, I guess, quote unquote, works, right? It's like a radio signal. Maybe goes and maybe that's what we were hearing on the radio, you know, with they kind of can, I guess, it's so in that way they can kind of tune into it or tune out. You know, it's not a constant like connection to each other, which might be interesting in terms of getting the individual, you know, maybe later on. That's a big piece of information to learn. But obviously, like their signal as the radio or whatever, the magnetic field around our bodies, however that works, just can't reach far enough for the aliens or the Hive, right? It's just not going to be possible until they get a big enough antenna, which they are working on. Yeah. You know, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I still have questions on whether or not this alien civilization still actually exists. You know, we see how our own hive mind will starve to death probably after 10 or 20 years. You know, majority of them are going to be gone if they don't find a way to continue surviving. So do we think Keplons are still exist? I don't know.
Yeah.
They're also maybe not human, come from a water world.
Right. Right.
Interesting stuff. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. I just imagine Kevin Costner on that planet.
I just bought a telescope, so this is just a fun, beautiful scene for me. I was like, yeah, I love that. No, first of all, once they set up that telescope and she searches for Kepler 22 for so long, that's the system, right? There's absolutely no way that they could do that with that telescope. You can probably see Kepler 22 in the system, but like we rotate so fast that it's already out. They don't adjust that telescope whatsoever. Nitpicking, I'm nitpicking. I get it.
It's okay.
It's a little nitpick.
Yeah, it's okay.
But I still loved it. I love them shutting off the lights because we can't get a real good look at these things with so much light pollution. It's very, again, it's kind of romantic, you know?
It's very romantic.
Looking at the stars together, she's kind of like shows this is where I come from almost, you know, like there's a little bit of knowledge there of it's like showing her this is my hometown. Yeah. What do you feel about the Keplons or anything else that, you know, any thoughts?
No, I just thought like, okay, great. I love the info. Thank you. It was very romantic. It was very, I don't know. no thoughts. Just like, okay, thanks for the info. I already knew it was aliens, you know? And I think that doesn't that solar or that system exist anyway?
It does. So I think that even some people had pieced together from the very first episode that this might come from Kepler 22 because it is 600 light years away.
Right.
And the message took this long or has been like broadcasting since then. Or whatever they found out, whatever the scientists said, you know, and that, so good on the astronomers and the people that are smarter than me to really place like the very specific planet. And of course, you know, Vince does his research, and I'm sure he did that very purposeful. You know, I believe that is the closest possible habitable planet.
Interesting.
To us.
Yeah.
That we found or that we know of.
Yeah. I want to say, like, just on that note, there's just like a lot of things in the show are very grounded in reality, regardless if they have happened or can happen or will happen. Like even like with the food, the eating the people thing, it's like that can happen. Like it's just like little things like that. Or even like having like a mass extinction event, or I don't know, like it's like none of these things are happening, but they very much can. And I think that it makes it feel very real and very existential and very scary. And I just wanted to say that. That's what that reminded me of.
Yeah, absolutely. So they do their stargazing. She goes home and somewhere after, I mean, we didn't mention them, like, you know, her also showing them like where they sleep, which is where I think they go, I don't remember what the order of it is. They go to a stadium, they learn where they sleep and how they spend it. It conserves energy.
Yeah.
I did notice that I was like, oh, some of them are like holding on to each other while they sleep, you know, a little bit of spooning action or whatever. And I was like, I wonder what that's about, you know? And then, you know, she writes on the board just because they share heat. Now that makes a lot of sense, actually, definitely. You know? Yeah. So nothing there to see. But she decided to stay, you know, stay the night with Zosha in her place again. And she doesn't get any other information after that, but she decides to stay.
Of course.
You know, so there's still, again, very much like, but she doesn't want to be left alone. Yeah. I think there's still a both and kind of situation going on there. Like I am gathering information, but also like, I you know, I don't want to spend a night in a house like of where my ghosts are anymore.
Exactly.
You know? So very interesting. And then she does go home though, and she starts writing on the whiteboard, and she underlines, they eat people. Don't fall in love. What are the red flags? What are the pros and cons, Carol? Do you ever do a pros and cons list with your relationships? Have you? Let's hash it out now. Do you have a pros and cons list right now? You don't have to if it's personal.
I definitely don't have a pros and cons list right now.
Have you ever done one?
No.
No?
I don't know. I have not. I know of people that have, but yeah. I haven't. Like, I just like, maybe it's bad, but I kind of like go with my gut. I'm like, you know, fuck it.
I think this is Carol. I think I have. Yeah.
Really?
I think at times.
Interesting.
I think not in like new relationships.
Yeah.
Maybe relationships that I'm like, like where we're having trouble. I'm like, what am I in this relationship for?
Right. Yeah. Like I'll do it I have done that too, where I might like do it in my head, but it's like very brief. It's very, very brief. It's like, oh, okay. Like I don't like this, but I like that, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not, let me they eat people.
I think they eat people would probably be on the cons list. Yeah. I don't know. It sounds like sounds like Carol needs to look on the positive side is all I'm saying. Positive vibes.
Positive vibes only. Positive vibes only. But the pros and cons list is very it's interesting.
But she does, she right. What else do we I actually took a screenshot of like what she's got on this board, what we know about them. We've learned about the stem cells already. She talks about the windfall. She wrote down what does it say? Anger equals danger. Nice little bit of rhyming there. Biological imperative. Nima, what else did she write down that I really was like interested in? The individuals feel everyone knows. Trains to transport food. Parentheses. Ugh.
Yeah, they're just transporting humans.
They're transporting humans. Is that human trafficking? No, sorry. No, I'm just kidding. There's a funny, I love this very funny shot where Zoe's just about to kind of go home and they're standing outside her in the cul-de-sac and Carol is asking like, oh, so is everyone back? Is the city still? And they're like, oh, they're working on it, And in the background, if you look very closely, you see just like plane after plane.
I noticed
after
that.
plane
I
coming
noticed that.
in,
Yeah.
just carrying people, just coming back to fill in Albuquerque.
Yeah,
I think it's such a fun, small detail. And again, you could just, at first I was like, oh, they captured a plane, going on. I was like, which is not, of course they fly planes. Of course that would happen. It's not like a different kind of show where you would have to paint that out or whatever. And then I saw another plane.
I noticed that too. I really liked that. I like that detail.
Fun, tiny details that they're very detail oriented on the show. I love that. Actually, I found more interesting things on her like Wycaro notes. You want to know what was in store for the book?
Yeah.
What was going to be happening in Wycaro? Also, I wonder what Wycaro stands for, because Wycaro is not is that the name of the book or is that the acronym? Like we talk about ACOTAR or the Song of Ice and Fire, or
I don't know, actually.
Like a Song of Ice and Fire.
I don't really pay attention to the show.
Game of Thrones is GOT, right?
Yeah.
And Wycaro is like it's not Wycaro. It has to be winds and something. Just in case you were wondering what was going to happen in Wycaro 5 before she changed the canon. Ugh. I think I moved my chair a little bit. Killer Sand Fleamen? ? Raybon dies, parentheses, again, this time for real. Lucatia disguised as pirate. Mandovian spice fruit equals poison. Elixir, love potion. Squiggly.
Okay.
People have thought that Carol should poison the hive. I don't know what that would actually do for her or what that would accomplish, but love potion. Interesting. Dream sequence at cliffs of chartreuse, falls into sand pool. And there's ore, but there's no, anyway, falls into sand pool, suffocating metaphor. Luke wins temporal compass from Captain Virgil. Battle of wits. Bring back Galen Bray shapeshifter. Kidnaps first mate this time. Lucasia seeks revenge. Fun. I don't know. Fun stuff. Lots of twists.
Yeah,
I would say lots of deception.
Yeah,
we're going from like fake deaths or not fake deaths. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And then of course Sandmen. So flea people. But of course, that all changes. Right. I love that. We brought up last week that she doesn't write in her isolation, and I kind of love that she goes to her whiteboard. She runs out of the marker. We know she's going to go ask the hive. Is like, can you bring me some more?
Yeah,
please. Can you just? I need these. This is how I write. This is what it is. And then they, of course, know like that's what she uses for her writing. You know, that's very specific. That she would be like, oh, are you writing the next Wycaro book? They seem genuinely excited that she is writing, and not only again because it's what she does. It's her passion. They want to consume something new. You know.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. And again, recognizing that writing is her purpose, right? It gives her meaning. It gives her something to feel real about, that she wasn't doing it before. And then she just changes. She does go back to it. I mean, after a night of passion and stuff, but we'll get to that. But yeah, I don't know. I just found what were you going to say? I like that. I like that they seem to want.
I found it, I found it to be kind of fake because she doesn't really like writing those books. Like she doesn't like it, and so I think that she did it because she knew that like the hive kind of wanted it, but they wanted it. And so I think she did it in a way to get closer to the Hive and Zoja specifically, but like deep down, like she doesn't like those books. Like she doesn't like writing those books.
No, she doesn't like writing them because she keeps falling into tropes. But what we do find is that she changes all these things that I just outlined.
Yeah.
She changes the book. Very first chapter, in the very first chapter, the gender of Raban has been changed.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I thought about it. Yeah.
I feel you. I was like, is this a play to see how far they're positive? Is it purposefully bad? Was one of my questions for her to see, like, will they still accept it? Do they really care about the book? But also there was a moment of like genuine, I felt the excitement of her being like, no, I think it's going to be the temporal cave or whatever it is. Like, is it this or is it that? Like, how did you change the gender? Like, well, how do you make it make sense? And they have this like real connection about like the book. And I'm like, oh, I think Carol actually really is
excited
wanting to write it.
Yeah.
If she can change things and do it for herself and for what she really wanted from the very beginning,
right?
And not adhere to an audience,
Definitely.
you know? And here's again, we talked about how having a creative partner, this is how I kind of am. It was like, where if I come up with like an exciting and I show you something, you know, like, are they on the same page as me? Are they also being like, no, this is what I want. Oh, I'm excited, you know, and to have that, you know, to be, I feel like was very great for Carol, you know?
Yeah.
We know that Helen was just kind of like, well, it's fine. You know, it's, you know, these kinds of, you know, and very manager about it, you know? But I think that like we know that there are people in the Hive mind in the past really, really love these books. They say, we love these books and we're interested in what's kind of going on. They want to be surprised. They want this new thing. And to engage with a fan base in a different way than we saw her in the very first episode, which was very like she was putting on this mask.
Yeah.
I felt like the mask came down in that scene.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure at first. I didn't know if there was a play going on. I don't think there is. I think the mask came down and she really does want to write this thing. I think she's really, really excited.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you not?
I know. Yeah. I can definitely, I was thinking both things. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, she seems excited and they both seem like they're really into it in the moment, but it's like, what is like the subtext? Like, what is lying underneath? Like, what does she really, she was able to like change the character to what she wanted it to be. But I'm like, I thought she just didn't like the genre in general that like targeted like a very specific audience. I just didn't think she liked writing that type of like soapy romance, like in general, regardless of the gender. Mm-hmm. So that's why that made me think like, oh, this is kind of like a play, but it could not be, because you're right. Like it did come off very genuine. So I genuinely don't know, but I could definitely see it being very genuine as well. Yeah. So
I think she hates what the genre and the audience can be, and that she has to feed into that, and there has to be a marketability, and there has to be like certain things that she has to fit into. When she's like, I love the genre, but I want to write it my own way. I want to subvert these things. And this is her returning to that. I love how she like outright says, this is canon.
Yeah.
Because this is where I feel like, again, this is the, where show lovers and haters are going to be very divided on like, oh, the show is taking a turn to not be what they expected, right? And we see this a lot with like creators, and when writers take things into these directions that you're not really expecting, and fans are very much easy for them to say, this is not canon, this is not my canon, right? Yeah. And she very much says, no, this is canon, this is what's happening. And I feel like that's also kind of like the writers of the show saying like, this is canon, right? This episode is canon, right? Yeah, in the grand scheme, it's like it might not be exactly what you thought or what the show is like you're watching, but like it is still canon because the writer said so. Because it doesn't. I guess a lot of questions could be had of like what belongs to the fans and what belongs to you. When does it belong to the fans and that you have to appease them or do whatever, and when is it belong to the creator. You know, if the creator said it, they're the ones that gave it to you in the first place. Yeah, it's canon.
Yeah.
Why is that's not wrong? You know, I don't know. I love all that. I love this. I love the author intent and the auteur of and what there's other phrases and stuff. You know, and I love those kinds of conversations. But yeah, I think we're gonna see a divide of people being like, no, when Zoja and Carol like have sex, the scene earlier is like, that's not canon. That's not the show we signed up for. It's like, nope, you can't do that.
I was waiting the entire time. I can't believe it took this long.
Where are my book talk earlies at?
I know. That's me.
Do you want to talk about that?
I was so happy that they did finally. Like,
and Zoja made the first move. Essentially.
Yeah.
Did she not?
Yeah. She went in. Yeah.
That was such a fun scene. Very romantic comedy scene of like, I'm not going to stop. You have to know I'm not going to give up.
Yeah.
She's like, I know. I know.
Like, I know. Yeah.
Isn't that such a, this is such a, it's so good. It just represents, I love the hive mind version of the story. And then I love just seeing it. I was like, okay, just seeing two people at odds with each other, like getting into this relationship. It's so good. It's so interesting. And this is what we want, right? This is
honestly, like I want to see a Vince Gilligan romantic comedy. Yeah. Like I'd love to see him have a stab at that. I know this is the closest we're gonna get. Yeah, but it's pretty great. It's pretty great.
I think people are going to be like, no, see, Carol says she's not going to give up. She's still on the mission. She's still writing the notes. I'm like, but then she accepts the kiss and then she kisses her back. Yeah. And then she sleeps with the hive. Yeah. She sleeps with Zoja.
Yeah.
She needs and she wants something. She is craving this attention. She's craving this need. You know, she loves this relationship and she's falling in love. I don't know. I guess I don't want to speak too soon. I think she's falling a little bit in love with Zoja and the hive. And despite the fact that like, we don't know how manipulative they're being, we don't know like how much of it is really them or the individual, but we do get into that. We get some shades of individuality. You know, we get some shades of like what she's falling in love with. I think she has. People are going to point to him and be like, see, she hasn't given up. I was like, no, she is. Or maybe she isn't, but she's like, it's both and, right?
It's both.
And I do think that she is kind of lying to herself, you know, like this singular focus on being, you know, like saving humanity or doing whatever, as opposed to like just focusing on her book. You know, I think she does. She realizes like, this is not what I want to do with my life, right. is to focus on how do I save humanity? I think that's going to be the big question next episode, which is called The Girl and the World in Spanish. So I don't know if the Spanish is, but it's, I think it translates
La
to
chica o el mundo. Is that what it's
I think it's, I can't remember. I don't have it written down.
Mundo. Yeah, I think that's what it was.
But it's going to be the girl. I think that's going to be the big question. It's like, do you choose to save humanity or do you choose this girl? What is it going to be? Yeah. I find it interesting. I love that scene though. I love that scene.
Yeah.
Cause it's so reminiscent of like every other enemies to lovers kind of scene. And again, usually in those instances, the main character is lying to themselves. They're saying like, no, I don't want this. I'm not going to do it, you know? And then of course, this is what you really want.
Exactly. That's what you wanted the whole time. That's what you wanted the whole time. She's on your book cover. Like, are you kidding? Like, yeah, but it's all, but that's what I'm saying. Like, she's on the book cover. It's fabricated. Like, it's all very intentional. But if we're being honest, like, isn't that like, I don't know. I was going to say like, oh, isn't that what we're all doing? But like, not really. Like that's like the beauty of like being a human. It's like you just so happen to meet people and you don't know what's going to happen. Right. But it's like, this is like so highly manipulative because she's on the cover. She's your type. You have all of the thoughts, like, you know, everything. And so it should be so easy to crack this person, you know, to enrapture them, envelop them, seduce them. It really should be easy. Honestly, it should be easier. Carol's putting up a good fight. If I'm being honest, she's doing the Lord's work. I would have folded. I would have like, take me. Take me.
We're not escaping the allegations.
What are the allegations?
That we love the hive mind.
Oh, right. Oh my God. Listen.
No, for sure. I mean, yeah. Is this the same as Diabate?
We're gonna get into that. That's gonna take that. That's what's gonna make the people mad. It is and it's not. Okay, what's the difference? Is that well, it's not. Diabate really wanted it.
Well, for one, Zoja made the first move. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, is I will say two things. Zoja made the first move, and also Diabate still treats them as props in his play,
yeah,
right?
He doesn't treat them as things like.
Whereas Carol does before this happens, seeks out the individual, seeks out the person that she is trying. You know, she makes them kind of come to her, right?
Yeah.
And that's a difference a little bit.
Yeah.
There's some similarities. There's
definitely some similarities, but I think that I still think that the Hive has a lot more power in this dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
It is 8 billion people against one.
Mm-hmm.
Is 8 billion brains against one.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
All the world's knowledge, all of like the intimate personal details of Carol and her life, her 50-something years of life, like in these moments, I think that the Hive definitely has more of like the upper hand in this, has more of a manipulative hand in this than Carol could ever, you know. And I guess maybe we could say the same thing about Mr. Diabate, but I feel like that is such a different dynamic. I don't know. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because you're so caught up in the love story of it all.
I know, because it's so cute. It's so cute. I love it.
And here's the thing, though. It's like, I just think it's, rest in peace to all the Carol supporters out there. Because they're saying she's not that much different from from the needs of the humanity, right? She's not very different from Mr. Diabate. At the end of the day,
really not. She's
getting what she feels like she needs.
Well, she needs more, because she's such a woman. She does need more of an intimate connection. She needs to see that there is a person underneath there, and she needs to connect to them before anything else happens.
Yeah.
Unlike Mr. Diabate, who is again playing a man, a very stereotypical man. He doesn't need to have intellectual or emotional connection. Yeah. He can just treat women as things, and treat people as props, because that's what he's essentially been conditioned to do. Yeah. Whereas Carol, as a woman, has not.
Yeah.
And I that's relatable.
Yeah. We skipped over the diner scene, and there's only one major thing I want to say. I mean, it's very interesting. Talk about manipulation, right? Also of the Hive. There's a manipulative tactic going on here. There's performative, right? We have the cars around the diner are just going in circles. Right, with the idea of just traffic and life being outside of this diner, but they're just going in circles because you hear the truck go by with the loud music over and over again. So there's I
didn't even notice that. I didn't notice the truck, but yeah. And of course, it's just I saw. So there's two things I saw. It was a screen. It was a. What was it? Twin Peaks. It was kind of a
yes,
shot by
I saw
shot.
that.
I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool. But of course, for me,
homage.
An
I
homage.
Guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Twin Peaks or Mulholland Drive?
I believe it's
Twin
Peaks.
It was Twin Peaks. Okay. But for me, it was it was just very Truman Show.
Yes. Yeah. Very.
And then
Truman
there's
Show.
obviously a lot of aspects that are very Truman Show, but this very specifically was so Truman Show.
Yeah.
Where you have all of the player, all of the actors, in a space just for this one person so that they can believe it's real.
Yeah.
Right.
Why do you think it was too much for Carol? I think that's the main point of the scene, is that it becomes too much for her, where she has to get out of there. And, you know, then we get the love scene, obviously, that we already talked about, their little argument, but there was something there in that scene that became.
I can just see that being a very overwhelming moment. I don't know.
I think to me, the thing to remember, it's a very great gesture. We talked about the love bombing of it all. But what I find interesting is, like, this is something that Carol's enjoying, like, in the moment, as you said. She loves being here. She loves the nostalgia of it. And it's the moment that she realizes that this person was taken from their life to be flown here to be a waitress again.
To placate her.
It's all this for her. It all just becomes too much. There's all so much for her. And I think there is, again, when we talk about humanity and our need to, I think that this is interesting when we talk about when people who live so much in, like, nostalgia and the remember whens and when we go back. And I feel like being part of humans, being a part of a human life and living life is going through these cycles, right? Death is a part of that. Letting things die and not resurrecting them is a part of that. Memory is a part of that. Yeah. And we can't live in our memory. We need nostalgia and stuff to stay where it is in order for us to move on and to continue living.
Definitely.
Right? And I think that's a reminder of, like, this is not human to be able to do this, to resurrect a whole diner, to build it because it burned down, and to build it from memory exactly as it is, to bring in the actress, the waitress, to do this. Not only is it overwhelming because it's all for her, but I think it's the realization that, like, this will never be correct. Mm-hmm. Like, they are trying to human again way too hard.
Right.
That this is not what humanity is about. That things need to sometimes die in order for us. And maybe we remember it, but we can't resurrect it. We should not be resurrecting this. That is not what humans do. And I think that's why she leaves in such a way to, like, I have to remember that these are not humans, you know? Again, I don't think the gesture was wrong. I don't think she was so, you know, I think she really, really enjoyed being in that moment, you know, for what it was. But I do think that, again, the reminder of, like, how inhuman that is, I think, is the thing, you know? Again, you can't resurrect a diner the same way we can't go back. We can never go back. Hey,
we can't we got to go back, but we can't.
But we can't go back.
You can't go back. I was like waiting for you to pause this, and, like, I was going to say it, but it's true. Like, you can't go back to relive it and to make it right. And to, you really can't. You have to, like that timer, we see it every episode. You have to, like, keep going forward and figure out a new way. You can't live in nostalgia. Me personally, I'm very big on not living in nostalgia or living. I feel like nostalgia and just living in the past are, like, very different things. And, you know, remembering the past, learning from the past, talking about past events or, like, past thoughts that you've had. I think that is, like, important to think about and to share and to see how those things have shaped you. But now the nostalgia is where the trap lies. And nostalgia, I think, for humans is such a big trap. And I really do think that the Hive knows this. They know the power of nostalgia. I personally fight against it. I have to, like, fight against nostalgia. And I think I do a decent job at it. Sometimes it does get me, but I absolutely do not let nostalgia dictate my decisions. And I think that recreating that nostalgia for her might have manipulated her in a way, maybe to write that Wycaro. Or maybe she saw right through it. You know what I mean? Because the Hive is like, oh, this is where you first learned to write or were writing and you were struggling and blah, blah, blah. And, like, they knew that could kickstart some nostalgic thing and possibly have her write more so that they could be entertained. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, that is like truly the
I
power
mean,
of
we
nostalgia.
want something new, you know, we always do.
We do.
Yeah.
I know. But yeah, that is like truly the power
I think
of
it's
nostalgia.
I think it's a miscalculation on their part than like a manipulation, in so much that I feel like they just, as you said, they know the power of nostalgia, but they assumed it would be good. Right. They assumed that this would be good for Carol. Like they really thought like, no, we're doing a good thing. Like this brings back memories. Like, doesn't it? Like, I don't know that there was the malicious attempt. Like, I don't know they're weaponizing nostalgia. Right. I'm not saying you said that, but that's just my thoughts on how much they know about nostalgia. Like they do know the power of it, but they do not know how to use it.
Right.
They do not understand humanity enough to know that like you can only live in nostalgia so much. Just putting someone in the same place in the same moment and basically bringing them back in time is not going to produce the moment that you think it wants, right?
Exactly.
You know, because there's also the unseen things when it comes to those moments. It's like, well, I was also like starving and whatever, you know, I was like relying on the kindness of this waitress, you know.
Yeah, but she did say that those were like the best times. And again, that's very relatable. Like you don't know the best times when you're in the best times. Like, you know what I mean? And like her
we look
looking
back on it with like,
you look back on it, it's just like, oh yeah, like that was actually the best. Right. That happens to me. That's happened to me recently, you know, like, it's like, oh yeah, that actually was the best. It wasn't so bad. But again, like it's so interesting because Carol is not a person Carol is so not sentimental. Nostalgia is very sentimental. Yeah. And she's not driven by that at all. She, you know, and I found that like really interesting.
Or we wouldn't think that, you know, based on what we've seen of her.
It's not, she is capable of it, but that's not a part of her core. She's not driven by the sentimentality or nostalgia like at all. And again, I do think a lot of people are. I really do.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I think one last thing about that, I think there might be a small fear there as well, right? If they can resurrect a diner, well, she doesn't want Helen to be resurrected because you talked about like, well, this was a great time of life, but also like a great time of her life was when she was with Helen, you know? And I think there's a fear there is like, if they can resurrect this diner, is that what they're going to try and do? And I don't want that.
Right.
I don't want them to resurrect things that shouldn't come back. Right.
Exactly.
And I think that's why, like, as it, you know, a good segue into how we move and how she talks to Zoja after that, after they set the boundaries and she's like, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep doing this. But also like, who are you? And like, how do I get to know you? And she's changing her approach. She very specifically tries to get her to refer to herself as I. Like, I don't want the version of you that you think I need or whatever, but use I. Can you just refer to yourself as I? Stop saying we. I want to know who you are. Right. And I think that's, again, a little bit of this fight of like, don't stop telling me things that you think I want to hear or think I want to see or think I want to know, you know, or whatever it is. Like, let me see like who you are, you know, and she has to set that boundary in order for her to even view them as like an individual to get to know, you know? Yeah. And it, in a way, it kind of works. We kind of see some sort of individuality maybe come out. Are we seeing something, a tactic that Carol was doing for her own self-preservation actually help and possibly, is that the seed to like changing the hive? Is that the seed to actually curing or bringing someone back? Is to remind someone of their individuality, is to kind of keep giving them the truth of like, this is who you are. Like, tell me who you are, and like getting to like know them, that brings them out of that hive mind nature. Right. Again, good metaphor for just, I don't know, depression or loneliness or anxiety of when we get into this thing of this is what the voices tell me who I am kind of thing. But like having someone even just tell you like, no, this is who you are, you know, to give you the individual, the uniqueness that makes you can bring you out of those moments and these terrible feelings when all like the negative comments are out there telling you like all, you know what I'm saying? Like there's some good metaphors there, you know, like what is this tactic that she's stumbled upon? Is that working? Do you think, you know? 'Cause we get that memory, this mango ice cream story from Zoja that yes, she can bring in those memories, but it does seem like she has a moment there of of being Zoja again.
Right.
Even if it's performative, is that not still that individual? Even if she's just drawing upon a memory, is that not part of what makes her her? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm asking?
Yeah. It did make me question, can they tap into individuality?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say no. I can't get past it. I genuinely can't get past the manipulation where I feel like I am like Carol, where I can dip in, but then I snap out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of like how the hive mind does, where they can tap into these memories, these things. She could have told that story. She could have told a story from another 10-year-old in Poland that had a similar experience to her. And it could have been the same thing. Could have been. It's
do you think that's the thing is we have to ask the question always, but do you think? I think it was really from Zoja's memory. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know.
They can't lie. She, it's that contract. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They can't lie. It's her.
And she never slips once in telling the story. She says, I remember looking at the ships. I blah, blah, blah. Right. Mm-hmm. It's never we.
Yeah.
So she's also like, there's a little bit of like placating Carol, but also she has changed over this 10-day, whatever 12-day period. There's a little time jump before this, right? Mm-hmm. That she is learning and she's becoming, at least outwardly, at least as far as Carol knows, like some sort of individual.
Right.
I don't know. I find it very interesting. I think that's the point, right? This is like the climax of the season is like, wait, is the individual in there? That's the question we're supposed to be asking. Is that Zoja actually coming out? Are they forgetting,
I know, like I've gone back and forth so much about this. Like every time we talk, I go back and forth where I'm like, there is some humanity in there because I told you like her, like trying to like kill her. And like, I'm like, they don't see these people as human. Mm-hmm. Definitely Manousos doesn't see these people as human. But then I go back and forth where I'm just like, in this episode, I'm like, oh, but this feels very manipulative. It feels like a game. I'm going back and forth on this, which is very like, I want to say rare for me to not have like, have some solid stances, but to not have a solid stance on like what this entity actually is and what the goal is. And I don't know. I think that's more of like the question for me. I'm like, why, like, how are they, they're manipulating the audience. I feel like that's what's happening like right now. I'm like, I feel like I'm in a good way, manipulation in a good way. I feel like I'm being manipulated to go back and forth. Be like, is this a human? Is there a human in there? Or is this a game? To have this one entity, just be one entity and to take over this planet. And I keep going back and forth. Like, I don't know. The more specific they are when they target a specific person, the more I feel like it's a game. But when it comes to like, when it's like a Manousos interacting with them, or even like the Zoja getting poisoned thing, like it kind of snaps me out of that. And it's like, oh wait, no, wait a minute. And I don't, by the way, to this point, we didn't talk about not once, but twice that they cut to Zoja's back, showing the lacerations of Carol's intent to take her. That's what it was. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's maybe it is kind of like the body doesn't forget.
Is that not from the grenade?
Oh, was it the grenade or was it the poisoning?
I think it was from
Which one was it when she tried to kill her?
I didn't know if it was from the grenade or from somewhere deeper in her past. But we've seen her back before. So actually, no, we've never seen the scar. So I think it was from the grenade.
Okay.
Because she steps in front of.
Yeah. We saw it twice in this episode, her back with the scars.
Well, again, a character that is willing to put someone else before themselves, there's a sacrifice there. Like she physically sacrificed herself for Carol. And that's an interesting place to put a character that we're supposed to not like. Or think
that is, yeah, exactly. But it's like, it's just showing that these people also have scars too, that showing the humanity of them. Like it is that, you know, it's for us to like remind ourselves like, oh no, Carol has done some fucked up things too, or fucked up things to this person. Again, fucked up things to this person. Is it a person? Like it's that the creators, the writers, the directors are constantly making us ask questions like every freaking like 30 seconds in this show. Like, remember, Carol tried to kill her. Remember, she has all her memories. Remember, Helen. It's like it constantly has you question, and it's like amazing. I find this very, very fun, and not in a way where it's questioning in terms of speculation. It's questioning what other people's motives are. Period. What are people's motives when you are in a relationship with them? Like, and it's a ping pong back and forth, and you never know. It's a very scary thing. It's a very, very scary thing to put yourself out there and be so vulnerable, because you could get hurt. You could have some lacerations on your back. You know, they could use a past memory to manipulate you, intentional or not, right? Whatever the intentions are, you know? So it's that constant ebb and flow back and forth. I really love this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really love it. I have a feeling that a lot of most of the people that don't like the show or hate on us in the comments, I think it's always going to come down to the question of like, well, it's consent, right? Well, they didn't choose to be a part of the hive mind. So at the end of the day, no matter what they do or no matter what direction they go, they're always going to be like, well, they didn't consent to this. Yeah. I don't want to have the consent conversation, so to speak. I think we've had it like quite a bit, but I think that, if people would maybe get past that a little bit, they would be seeing and asking these questions and having these like great conversations and these great moments of like, what does it mean to be a human? Like, what are the motives of these people? Like, like, are they really here for, total domination? Or are they here just to spread some sort of love, to give a gift, something that we don't get as humans, like in real life, Right. I don't know, some interesting conversations. I think Carol is finding that out herself. I feel like she has changed a little bit. That she is, she's basically now becoming there are little moments where she reminds herself, yes, that this is not human. But I think she's fallen into like, well, if this is the new way of life, let me figure it out. They're in a domestic relationship now. They're living there. They're cooking together, right? If you very, very tiny detail that if you pay attention and if you can see how much Carol has changed from the course of just this episode and how she views the hive mind, from like the very beginning of the episode, she makes lemonade from concentrate. And by the end of this episode, there's a full-on like expensive juicer like on her like cabinet that they are using to like cook, like they're making things from scratch,
right?
Or whatever, something she's also learning how to like provide for herself, and there's something else going on that she is changing like right before your very eyes, with that very, very small detail. Right. I found that very fun, very interesting. It's very good. But again, on the way, here comes Manousos to break the illusion, right, as it were. Literally breaks the illusion for Carol, like in that moment where right after they get that story of the mango ice cream and like why it's her favorite and all this kind of stuff. And then she stops and she stares off into the distance. And then the mask is gone. The illusion's gone.
That's it.
And Carol has to be reminded,
have a visitor.
Humans are out there. Survivors are out there. And here comes Manousos to remind her, is like, oh yeah, we're fighting for something. I don't know what direction that's going to take, but I'm super, super interested. I have one prediction for the next episode. But yeah, anything to say before we get into like speculation corner and wrapping up this episode?
No.
About any of that? Like changes? I think you probably said everything that you wanted.
Oh my God. Yeah.
My one prediction for the finale is that we did talk about whether or not Carol is unique in how, did we talk about on the pod or was that off pod? Like, why does her tantrums cause problems with the Hive, but like his doesn't? Yeah, because he's so calm and like, yeah, right?
We just talked about
I think that when they come to a head, Carol is going to be in a position of defending the Hive because he is going to do something in a very similar vein as what Carol has done before, where the whole Hive like stops functioning or does their shaking thing or whatever his emotions do when they come to a head. Now she's going to be on the side of the Hive, like stop doing what you're doing. I think she's going to have to go against Manousos in that way. I think that's my prediction.
Oh, that's
there's
so
a possibility of that happening, because then that'll show like the difference between how Carol, where she was from the beginning, where she would not have done that. And she was like, I don't care. I only have my, to now defending the Hive. I think that's my one
so
prediction.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. Do you have any predictions or any thoughts about what's going to happen with these two as they come to a head? The girl versus the world, or the world?
The girl or the world. Yeah. I don't know. Like I just want the aliens to come. I just want them to like come from their ship and like, I
think that would be clean for you. Like a clean, like now we know what the motives are. Now we know exactly what's going on.
Now we see the aliens.
But it's not so clean.
Yeah. And it's just a bunch of like Zojas, like just hot, like in Battlestar, like.
Oh, and they're all lesbians.
And they're all lesbians.
Yeah, okay.
They're everything.
Right.
Lesbians are everything. Shout out to my sisters. But yeah, so no predictions. I'm always like watching the show like, oh my God, like I can't believe this is happening. Yeah. This is wonderful. Yeah.
I think what a great setup. I don't think anyone really, we kind of saw it coming. I think maybe we mentioned that these characters are going to be at odds at some point, but I don't think anyone watching the show, they assume that Manousos, Carol getting together, this is what we want. We need to see them,
Yeah, it's like that meme where it's like a guy going like this and you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about like the Predator like hand the thing. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger and
is it? Okay, yeah, that meme. Yeah, they think that that's gonna happen. And I'm like,
yeah.
Is it? Like,
I think that we had an inkling that maybe they would be at odds. I don't think I even predicted how at odds now that they are going to be after this episode. It's going to be much
worse.
There's the war that Manousos thinks he's fighting, and now I think it's going to be a different kind of war.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know what side to be on, because I also understand that, like, yes, the hive mind is without individuality, but again, if this is our new reality, then and what Carol's doing is like the good thing, like getting to know them to, like maybe we just have to adapt and learn. And I don't know. Right. It's hard. It's really, really hard to say. I guess that's going to be most of the questions from next week. And it's going to leave a lot of people feeling frustrated, because it's like, well, what is this show?
Exactly.
I guess the good moral codes and the good versus evil things that people have come to want from this show might not be so prevalent.
It never has. That's the thing. Like, it's like, it never has been.
Yeah.
It never and this episode really solidified that, in my opinion. So.
I think so. Yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to that discussion. Oh, it comes out early, by the way. It comes out on Christmas Eve, which I assume, or is it Christmas Day? I think it comes out on Wednesday, which, knowing Apple, means it's actually going to drop on Tuesday. So
yeah,
I don't actually know when it's coming out, but it is dropping early, at least a day early. So be on the lookout for that. And so I'll be hopefully talking to you a lot sooner.
Yes.
Than we thought. But I'm really looking forward to that discussion. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you guys. If you have any thoughts on anything we said, feel free to email us. Go in the comments. Positive vibes only.
Positive vibes only.
I'm mentally hanging by a thread. I'm tired of.
Yeah, I'm not reading the comments. Only from Sweaty. Sweaty diva. You got a fan.
Yeah.
You got a fan.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm always interested to hear what you guys have to say, what we missed, and any questions that you might have that we can hopefully provide some insight on our very final episode of Pluribus coming next week. Until then, see you later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Codependent Content. For updates, you can follow us on social media. And if you ever want to see a video version of this podcast, feel free to check us out on YouTube or Spotify. If you have any questions or simply want to tell us about something we missed, you can email us at codependentcontent@gmail.com. Or just leave a comment on TikTok and we'll get back to you. Links to all our accounts, where to contact us, or other ways to support will be in the description or show notes. We're glad you're here and working through your traumas with us. Remember, when you're lost in the darkness, search for the light. Live long and prosper, and may the force be with you. Until the next session, cowabunga, dudes.